My name is Ray Alonzo. I manage corporate operations for Lyft Energy in Utah, and we have been using JobNimbus since 2018. So Lyft Energy started about 2 years ago as a solar dealer. It was just a group of guys doing door-to-door sales, and their dream was to be like the number one solar company in the world, right? About 9 months ago, they acquired a solar installer so that they could do their own sales and installations. We have current ambitions to be our own finance partner in the future to fund all of our own projects. We've grown from about 20 employees, that was about 9 months ago, to about 95 employees is what we have right now. We're growing phenomenally fast. The solar market is awesome right now. Even with COVID, we thought that COVID would have hurt us, but it's actually turned our business well. I'd say in 2019, I think our gross revenue was $10 or $12 million. Right now, we're in 2020, we're on track to make about $40 million. How much we've grown, we've multiplied by about 4. So before we had JobNimbus, we did have a different software that we were using, but they were more of just kind of like a basic CRM. They weren't robust enough to handle all of the ins and outs of our business. I say that just because there are a lot of statuses that we need to keep track of. So for example, we want to know the field status of an account. Has it been site surveyed? Has it been permitted? Have we had the installation started? On the back end of that, on our corporate operations side, we want to know where we are with the finance partner. What portion of the project has been funded? What documents are missing? So all the softwares that we had available to us were like very basic CRMs. They weren't really a business solution that we could use for the entire A to Z of our business for corporate operations, sales, and our field operations. I think the biggest issue that we were having before we were using JobNimbus is that we couldn't organize the statuses of our accounts properly. So whenever an account gets sold in the solar industry, two things start to happen at the same time. On one end of the spectrum, you've got your field team that is getting it site surveyed and getting a CAD created for permitting, installation, final inspection. And on the other side of that, you've got stuff moving with your finance partner. So most solar companies utilize finance partners to fund their projects. We've got to get various checkpoints or milestones approved with the finance partner. And every software that we were utilizing was only allowing us to track one status at a time. We couldn't have two simultaneous statuses tracked. It's just been so awesome to have something like JobNimbus that could customize the way our projects move and the way they are viewed by both our internal employees and our external salespeople. I think what makes JobNimbus stand out from other CRMs is how much we're able to customize it to tailor our needs. It fits us so perfectly because we can have things viewable in a certain way for our corporate operations, things viewable in a second way for our salespeople, limit or open the amount of information that they can see and access, and then even organize it so that our field team organizes their work orders, the stuff on their calendar, just because we're using it to communicate, to make notes, to upload files, to track all sorts of data. We use it also to track our daily work schedule for a lot of our field operations. So it's been great to have something that can bend to our will. You can almost say that our JobNimbus for us has become Lyft Energy Nimbus. So some of the features that we use for JobNimbus, my favorite one I think is the activity tab where I can make notes and track any data related to that project. So if I call somebody and I leave a voicemail and they don't answer, I can make a note saying, left voicemail for so-and-so. And if there's somebody that needs to be communicated with, that message was left, I can say at John Smith or whatever employee needs to know that information. There's also the Documents and Photos tab where we can upload all sorts of files. I know other softwares that we've used in the past only let us upload PDF files, and they don't have any user friendliness for PNG or IMG files. I like that JobNimbus has allowed us to upload most types of file types. They're pretty user friendly. I also like in the Documents tab, if I click on a PDF, I don't have to download it to preview it. I can click it, it'll open within JobNimbus, and I can just scroll through the file, exit without ever having to download that file to my computer, which is great. There are a couple of other features of JobNimbus, such as the Tasks tab. I can create a task and assign it to somebody on my team. So I can say, add new task, assign it to Jake, Johnny, and Jimmy, and each of those three will receive an email saying Ray Alonzo has created a new task with the details. Once that task is complete, any one of them can mark it as complete, and we will all receive an email to let us know that the task is done. A couple other features that we really like about JobNimbus. One is the User Activity tab. So at any given time, I can visit one of my employees' profiles, and on their User Activity section, I can see minute by minute, because there's timestamps on any activity that they make within JobNimbus. So if they update a status on an account, or if they make a note and tag somebody, or just make a general note, I can see when they made the note, what time they made the note. and who the project is that they were working on, which is a great feature, especially for employees that are working like out of state. Sometimes you get employees who are spending 2 weekdays at the lake, and they say, "Oh, I'm going to work from home." So that's fine, but let me just see some activity and user activity to make sure you're working. That's great. The second feature I really like as a manager is the Reports tab. With the Reports tab, I can make customizable reports that show me how long a project stayed in a certain status for, how many projects I have in a certain status. I can also make exceptions and limitations and all sorts of customizations, which for the length of this video I will not include, but I love the Reports tab. A couple of the biggest challenges that we've had as a growing business, and this is probably true for 90% of businesses out there, are communication and organization. If our workflow isn't organized, a lot of things will stall and stop moving until somebody catches it and says, "Hey, we got to work on this project." On the other side of that, there's communication. If the proper parties aren't communicated with, such as, "Hey, Johnny, do we have this CAD made? Hey, Bill, do we have this permit submitted?" If those things aren't communicated to these people, then they will not know to do them, and they will lead back to a lack of organization. The size of company that we are today, I don't think would be achievable without JobNimbus's help, just because JobNimbus has allowed us to organize all of the stuff that we do. There are so many moving parts in the solar industry, and on the same token, it has allowed us to maintain communication, just because all of our employees and salespeople have a JobNimbus account, and we can tag any one of them in any account so that they can view anything we need them to view anytime. How has JobNimbus improved our organization and efficiency? I'm going to answer that with an example. So in the solar industry, sometimes we have an account that will stall for a number of reasons all at once. Let's say we need approval from the homeowners association, the HOA, to install on that rooftop, and at the same time the finance partner requires us to submit documents to show who is on the title of the home. And on the field operations side, the account might also need an MPU, which is a main panel upgrade electrical work. If all three of those things are needed at once, it stops because our CAD department might get the CAD ready for permit and the MPU section taken care of, but then the HOA and the title verification will be forgotten. So within JobNimbus, we can use something like the Tasks tab to create a task and assign it to the person that oversees our MPU applications and say, "Hey, take care of this MPU," create another task and assign it to the person that's in charge of finance partner stuff and say, "Hey, we need HOA verification and title documents for this home. Please provide those." So if I visit the Tasks tab in that account, I will see all those tasks and they will be incomplete, which tells me I need to do all these things to move this project forward. Just having that snapshot available, I think is what has made our efficiency so much better. We've gotten faster at moving our projects forward just because we can see a snapshot within the Tasks tab. A lot of things that hold projects up, I guess, in any industry is having multiple miscellaneous things like that quickly turn a project into a complex situation. So just having something like tasks. So when I started working for Lift Energy, we were already using JobNimbus. I know that before we were using JobNimbus, it was taking us on average about 140 days from the day an account was sold to the day that an account had permission to operate and got funded by the finance partner. Today, we are currently at about 89 days. Our goal is to continue tweaking JobNimbus to our needs and shave that down to about 55 days. Just because even now we still see a few things that slide by, and it's just a matter of us tweaking JobNimbus a little bit more to fit our needs. Some of that includes like automations that JobNimbus has. So I can create an automation where if XYZ happens on an account, an email gets sent to Jane Doe saying, "Hey Jane, this account is ready for you to conduct XYZ," which has been something that we use daily. I think we create 1 or 2 new automations every week, even to this day. Something that we recently started doing is creating automations so that we can email homeowners at certain milestones in their project. So every time we sell a new account, we add that homeowner's profile to JobNimbus as a contact. And I can set up an automation so that when a certain thing gets scheduled for that homeowner, they receive an email from Lift Energy saying, "Hey homeowner, congratulations on going solar. The next step on your project is for us to stop by on this date and conduct XYZ." And this is just in itself has saved us so much time with getting calls from homeowners and calling us to get updates on their accounts. They don't need to call us anymore because everything is automated within JobNimbus. They receive an email when their house is getting measured. They receive an email when the installation is happening. They receive an email when final inspection is happening. They receive an email when they get permission from the utility company to turn on their solar. So being able to send automated emails to our homeowners aside from saving us time, has made us appear so much more professional, and I think naturally just leads to more business as they enjoy the customer experience with us. I mentioned earlier we grossed about 10 to 12 million in 2019. We're now in 2020 on track to gross about 40 million. I think just being able to have such organization and communication within JobNimbus to accurately and quickly move all of our projects forward has made that achievable. A hurdle we find in the solar industry is that if we don't move projects fast enough, any finance partner you work with will say, okay, you know what, we're not going to pay you a dime until you completely finish this project A to Z. But I don't think we have had accounts enter statuses like that just because we've been able to see everything on an account. The reason anybody at Lift Energy would recommend JobNimbus to other companies is because of the customization of JobNimbus. For a very specific example, some finance partners will refer to their milestones as checkpoints, others will call them milestones, others will say notice to proceed, substantial, and final. So being able to track these statuses uniquely to each finance partner and understand them is really, there's really no other reason why you wouldn't want to use JobNimbus. I have not found any software that allows us to do something like that. I recommend JobNimbus because for us, being able to organize all of our communications has made us much more efficient, has made us more professional in the views of our customers, and has allowed us to quickly generate significantly more revenue.
What's the main reason you would recommend JobNimbus to another solar company?
Because they kick ass, guys. I'm just kidding.
Dude, because they're badass.
That's a badass, yeah. We'll edit that out. Also.
No, we won't.
No, we won't. It's going to be on TV.
That's right, man. This is actually live.
We're doing eventually Facebook Live.
Now he's like,